It's Lightning Week here at the Weather Channel, and we've shown you the dangers of lightning and the impact it can have on you and your loved ones years after it happens.
One man who knows all about that all too well is Sean O'Connor. He joins us now in studio. Thanks so much, Sean, for taking the time to share your story with us. And you were struck with lightning 3 years ago in June 2014. Take us back to that day and tell us what happened.
I had just gotten off work. I was working the late night shift, so got off work about 6:30 in the morning. By the time I got to the house, it was about 7:30, 8 o'clock. It was a summer day, so it was pretty hot outside. I had a bunch of yard work that I wanted to get done before it got too hot. So I started by cutting the grass, and after I finished cutting the grass, I started raking up some leaves. And it was around the time that I was raking leaves that I heard what I assumed was a tree falling because of the crashing sound, and woke up later on the other side of my driveway wondering what had just happened.
So you have no recollection of what happened. You heard a noise and then you woke up later.
Correct. I woke up. I had some pain in my leg. When I looked down at my leg, I noticed that the hairs on my leg had been singed. I had the taste of blood in my mouth, and I'd seen some blood on my shorts. As I stood up and started to look around to figure out what happened, I noticed that the shoes I was wearing were no longer on my feet. They were now actually on the other side of the driveway where I had been standing, and one of them was smoking still.
Wow. So now, did the doctors tell you that and confirm that you've been struck with lightning, or how did that happen?
Yes. As soon as it happened, I had actually contacted my wife and told her what had happened, and she didn't believe me, so I had taken a few pictures and made some videos and sent them to her, and she encouraged me to go to the hospital. I ended up driving myself to the hospital. The physicians at the ER didn't really believe what had happened until I started to show them pictures. They hooked me up to EKGs to monitor my heart and discovered that I had a very erratic heartbeat. They had to give me a bunch of fluids to try to flush some of the metals out in my body that I guess kind of solidify when you get any type of electrical shock like that.
So how has your life progressed since then? What's happened since then? How has it changed?
Since then, things have kind of gone downhill a little bit for me. Just shortly after all that happened, my wife at the time had told me that it completely changed my personality. She said I was no longer the same person anymore, and we're no longer married. About a year after that, I mysteriously went blind. Both of the corneas in my eyes began to melt. I went from one specialist to the next specialist, and nobody had any idea what was going on. A lot of them had theories. All of these theories were tested. Tissue samples from my corneas were sent off to the CDC. They were sent off to Emory. Every theory they had came back as being negative.
Wow, that's just incredible. I mean, so how has that impacted your approach to severe weather now?
We have about 20 seconds.
Oh, yes.
Definitely not doing too much yard work outside anymore.
Yeah.
I don't take lightning strikes, lightheartedly anymore, that's for sure.
All right, Sean O'Connor, thank you so much for taking the time to come in and speak with us and share your story. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, as you just heard, a storm doesn't have to be right over you to be dangerous. We're going to explain the bolt from the blue coming up.